Let's be honest, you don't really need to watch every movie in every popular franchise, do you? For one reason or another, some movies just aren't worth the trouble. These are the popcorn flicks which franchise fans are better off skipping. The Lost World Jurassic Park isn't exactly a bad movie, but it is a little too long and tends to feel like a bad rehashing of their biggest hit. Aside from a few stellar action sequences, the movie doesn't really move the Jurassic Park saga forward, and the ostensible payoff of a T-Rex running roughshod over San Diego only occupies the final 20 or 30 minutes of the film. And yes, a case could be made for Jurassic Park 3 being inessential viewing too, but at 90 minutes, that installment is a simple, dopey monster movie that doesn't ever wear out its welcome. And as the Jurassic films continue to strip mine the tired man must not tinker with nature trope, it's worth remembering that, in the end, they're all dopey monster movies at heart. It's kind of a shame that X-Men The Last Stand is so very mediocre and skippable, because the end of X2 suggested a powerful transition to Marvel's classic Dark Phoenix storyline, with its own homage to Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Instead, the third film in the original X-Men trilogy waters down Jean Grey's story by crowding the movie with an endless array of unnecessary villains, including a vast collection of old and new bad guys from the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
With 2011's X-Men First Class, screenwriters Matt Vaughn and Jane Goldman managed the tricky feat of creating a film that was both a prequel and a reboot of the X-Men franchise. Its sequel, X-Men Days of Future Past, adapted a classic Marvel Comics storyline, which unceremoniously retconned the events of The Last Stand out of existence. Miss this movie, and you won't miss much at all. The Alien movies are renowned for their ability to purvey an overwhelming, inevitable, and deeply uncomfortable sense of dread. Whether it's just Ripley and that single xenomorph in the original film, or the most recent cast of colonial characters introduced in 2017's Alien Covenant, it's usually a certainty that there will be plenty of jump scares, grisly chestbursters galore, and lots of death. Prometheus fails on a number of levels, but it's that lack of any real dread that really makes it the most skippable of Alien movies. Modern franchises may love to fill their universes with obscure and often unnecessary origin stories, and that may work for running up box office numbers, but it doesn't make the movies themselves any more interesting. Filled with backstory, yet unable to strike that sense of fear which makes Alien movies so great, Prometheus just ends up feeling bloated. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're likely familiar with the Machete Order, a viewing plan devised by Rod Hilton, in which the prequels slot into the original trilogy right after The Empire Strikes Back. Instead of a tacked-on afterthought, the prequels suddenly become a long flashback sequence with far greater emotional resonance than they originally had. Notably, the Machete Order omits the Phantom Menace. The movie doesn't really contain any critical story points relevant to the rise and fall of Anakin Skywalker or his eventual redemption, so out it goes. Whatever order you do watch these films in, it's very easy to omit the first Star Wars prequel without missing any important story at all. Of course, it doesn't help that The Phantom Menace is also a completely horrible movie. Chances are it's not only as bad as you remember it, it's actually worse. Just skip it. Terminator Genisys was envisioned as a fresh start for the Terminator franchise, arriving 6 years after 2009's Terminator Salvation, which is today probably best remembered more for Christian Bale's on-set rants than for the movie itself. Thor: The Dark World's Alan Taylor stepped up to direct, joined by Game of Thrones star Emilia Clarke alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger himself. After the project registered a disappointing box office return, mostly because it opened in competition with Jurassic World, sequel plans were put on hold and work started on yet another soft reboot, which picks up the plot after 1991's Terminator 2 Judgment Day. As it stands, Genisys might as well have never happened.
I'll be back.
What?
2008's The Incredible Hulk isn't a terrible movie. It's just that this early attempt at franchise building came along before Marvel Studios had figured out the formula for making their movies truly great. Coming mere months after Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk wasn't able to take on any of Jon Favreau's tonal cues and suffered from the need to escape the long shadow of Ang Lee's disappointing 2003 Hulk movie. Incredible Hulk does have some interesting franchise-wide backstory involving the super soldier program that gave birth to Captain America, as well as a fun final scene involving Tony Stark hinting at the creation of the Avengers. But considering that Mark Ruffalo would ably take on the mantle of the Green Goliath from Avengers onward, and considering the current Marvel franchise marathon clocks in at well over 36 hours, you shouldn't feel too bad for wanting to give this one a miss. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.